All right, what's up, America? It's a Gym Teacher Dreams podcast coming live action at you here today on a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful December night. 50 degrees right now here in Illinois.
Nice.
And I see I was going to wear my D Brown jersey with my headband. I haven't put that thing on in a while, so I didn't get to it. So anyway, yes. So today for the Gym Teacher Dreams podcast, we're going to spend most of our time, if not all of our time, talking about college basketball, at least while they're still playing here. But first, no, I take that back. Before we get onto that, what do you think about the Big Ten changing the rules so Ohio State can be a part of it?
I'm fine with it. I mean, seriously, Ohio State is probably the best team in the Big Ten, so whatever. My thought is this. I mean, outside the Big Ten, when you're talking about the playoffs, the national championship playoffs or whatever, I have forever, even like going back like when I was in high school, you know, I felt like there should have been a playoff. I hated that it was just like the highest two seeded or rated teams would they wouldn't even play each other back then, if you remember right.
Right.
You know, it may have been in different bowl games, and you know, then I don't know, a group of guys like you and I would decide who was national championship. We'll let them decide it on the field. And everything else, the national championship and all levels of basketball, men and women, all other levels of football, everything else, there's a tournament. Baseball, there's a tournament. I imagine tennis, wrestling, everything's a tournament. Why not football? So that was like dating back to like 1990s, okay? And I thought like a 12-team tournament would be good. First four teams get a bye. Top four teams based on those ratings get a bye, and then you play it out. Like the bowl subdivision, what used to be Division II football, or one AA is what they used to be called. They have like a 20-team tournament or something. So why can't the highest level do a 12-team? So several years back when they went to a national championship game where 1 and 2 went together, and then they expanded a couple years back to the 4-team tournament. Those are at least baby steps. Now, I feel this would be like the best year to expand it even further. And maybe you go 8 teams this year because you haven't had a full slate of games to really kind of separate the talent and see who should be where. So, you know, give every Power 5 team an automatic berth, and then give, you know, a few automatic or whatever you call it, at-large berths, and go from there. So that's a long answer that isn't completely related to just Big Ten, but that's what I think college football should be doing this year. Big Ten, I'm okay with Ohio State getting in.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense if everyone in the end, but once again, I'm guessing they make a ton of money from bowls, sponsors to get those bowl games. You still have the bowl games, but yeah, let's have a tournament. That's what amateur sport, everyone has a tournament once in the postseason. Them, right?
Yeah.
So let's
do that's what I've been saying for years.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, you and I.
All right.
Need it.
Make it happen.
Yeah. Illini, they're in. They're probably the 12th seed. It only got worse after you left me there Saturday, I guess. I didn't watch it. I got busy. So anyway.
You got busy, huh? You want to tell the world about it?
No.
Burger King bathroom?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm good.
All right.
Illini basketball, though. Let's go.
Well, before we segue, I'm just going to throw this idea at you. It came to me this morning because I don't know if you saw over the last like 2 or 3 days, whether it's Twitter or ESPN or whatever. I've seen this several times over the last 2 or 3 days. This statistic about the Bears, okay? And in the last 20 years, how many 10-win seasons? Well, in Lovey's 9 years there, they had 4 or 5 or whatever it was. And in 4 and 9 years, so every other year. And so this must have been a 24-year span, because in the other 20 years since 1992 or whatever, yeah, twice they've had 2 10-win seasons. So you've seen the stat line. So I'm going to fix both the Bears problem and the Illini problem in one fell swoop. Lovey back to the Bears, and the Illini just pay a ton of money to the best available person out there.
All right. Okay.
Win-win.
Easy peasy. Let's go. Yeah. And then they actually have right now a linebacker that could play in the cover 2, and Roquan.
Yeah, I agree.
He could get back there. That's part of the problem right now. The Illini is Iowa killed him with the tight end because that dude couldn't get back to cover his deep middle.
It's something about the state of Illinois, both the Bears and the Illini, speaking of tight end, they don't utilize tight end in their offense, and I have no idea why. The Bears spent a very high draft pick to get their tight end, and then we don't use them. Whatever. And spend a ton of money on Jimmy Graham, and they don't use them. So they have 2 tight ends that they put a lot of assets into, and they don't use them.
I know in Madden, I use my tight ends.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, NCAA football, I do as well.
Yep. All right. We talk some football tomorrow.
No, let's move on. It just seemed like a segue because I don't know. We were talking college football, Big Ten. Yeah, someone's drumming downstairs.
I was just going to say we got some background drumming going on there. Let's go. Let's hit the Illini marching song there. Anyway. Next, we're going to talk here college basketball. And as Ray gets down there and asks his, probably already did, but anyway, did you stay up? Were you able to stay up? Oh, now I can't hear you.
What? You can't hear me?
Now we're good. Now we're good. You're back. So did you stay
up?
Yeah,
yes.
Boy.
I can't watch it, but I'm listening to it, which is something I did want to talk to you about. And then I follow the Gamecast, which it isn't always synced, which isn't always fun. Sometimes I see like the action on the internet like 4 seconds before they talk about it on the radio, and sometimes vice versa. So sometimes that gives me a little bit of a headache. But Deion Thomas, I really like his input as the color analyst. Obviously he played. He did a little bit of coaching. I think he coached like University of Illinois Springfield or something like that. So I mean, he very talented as a player, has the coaching side of it, and then just a basketball junkie. I really enjoy his input. So my challenge to you, something kind of like I wanted you to watch The Office for how long. I think you should tune in on the radio sometime, and you tell me what you think of Deion Thomas.
I've heard him a little bit. Yeah, he's good. Okay. Yeah. Not enough to really give you any more, but no, he knows what he's talking about, and he provides good insight. But I would have to listen to him a little more.
Now, I love Bardo, and I mean, it was great that he had that opportunity to go to ESPN and do his thing. And then who took off? Was it Hester?
Yeah,
right? Jerry Hester took his place and did okay. He wasn't Stephen Bardo, but then Deion, real nice. He's kind of on that, to me, almost on that Stephen Bardo level.
Yeah. Last night, the first thing is they came out and just dominated early. I think a couple of things. One, Miller can shoot the rock.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the first thing is when he's got his feet set and he's open, it hits nothing but net.
Yeah.
I mean, just boom. So that's the first thing. And then he didn't get a shot again. And,
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Can you call him streaky though? Because he went like those 2 games before Duke, and he was like 0 for 10 or whatever from behind the 3-point line. So
I don't count Baylor very much because they are so good defensively. I mean, no one got a good look. I mean, honestly,
yeah.
We went back, and I think I have them recorded. I might go back. I should have done that beforehand, but. I don't know if they got an open look more than 10 times in a game. I mean, 5, they kept switching screens, and they're just really good defensively. Everyone's talking about it, but holy cow, I was impressed. They switch everything. Everyone can guard anyone. I felt like Illini were patient enough to give a big boy inside a look, especially the high-low. And early in Duke, they did the same thing where he's got him sealed right from the rebound, right down and they don't give him the ball. Where then they started to, But then that dude needs to finish.
Yeah. He was in foul trouble against Baylor, too. I think that they had to go away from it a little bit. Baylor forced their hand. Again, kudos to Baylor. But, the Bulls did that back in the day. Even, I mean, Jordan was and is best player on the planet. But I don't know if you remember this, like first 10 minutes of the game, first 8 minutes of the game, they were feeding it to Cartwright, and that kind of opens things up. But that would, I swear, I can't remember how many times, and I was young, didn't take stats on anything like this, but I don't know how many times he scored the first like 6 points of the game,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's something to that. You got to punch it inside first. It's like belly shots in boxing. You got to weaken them up.
But right now he is like Shaq in the terms of every time he shoots, he gets fouled.
Yeah.
They only call, like every other or every third one. He gets fouled every time. He gets hit on the arm every time. But there's been 3 times against Duke where he got hit, but he didn't get hit hard enough, and he tried to just toss it over rather than getting it on the board. He short 3 times where he should have and once.
Yeah. Dion was talking about that, how the discrepancy and how it was, almost like 5 on 7, 5 on 8,
I don't know about that, but Teddy, old Teddy Valentine was there, and he started the old charge command because then the other dude, he called a ridiculous charge on freshman point guard. It was ridiculous. Yes. I mean, but if you listen to Jay Billis was utterly frustrated and really said some bad things about the officials that that both ways.
Duke Billis, huh?
Yeah. So,
what was I gonna say? Oh, one of them was on Twitter. Of like a phantom charge call, and I think it was the one with Curbelo.
Yes. Now he played horrible in where he his dream school was Duke.
All right? Was it?
Yes. So they talked about it on that his dream school was Duke, and obviously they did not want him. So he went in there with that mentality that I'm going to prove to you, Coach K, and he tried to do way too much.
Yeah.
So, he probably ended up with over 5 turnovers. He had a couple travels and a couple passes.
He did have 5.
Yeah.
And then I did see also, I was on Twitter that Underwood apparently was going to send the film to the, whoever the NCAA head officials are, because maybe some of them were suspect. Just the whole officiating aspect. Apparently, Underwood was putting a film together to send to the bosses and say, hey, look how bad your guys did.
He traveled. He kept taking a little extra step. It's every step you're taking. Okay. It's the rule that he was breaking. But anyway, he made he made some big plays too, though.
Underwood would disagree with you. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. All right. No, he made some big plays, some nice moves.
Yeah. So. The radio guys are real high on him. They call him the magician. He's very exciting to watch. And I mean, the little bit that I have seen, he is like electrifying, right? I mean, if he stays 3 or 4 years, the Illini are going to be in good shape at the point guard, I think.
Yeah. And he plays hard, competes.
Yeah.
The guy who's going to be good right now is not getting a ton of minutes, but is someone that Illini haven't had in a while is that tall, lanky stretch four. Hawkins, baby. He's going to be good. I'm calling it. He's going to be good.
They're high on him as well. That's one thing is the freshmen come in and they're not intimidated by the moment. I mean, even though, like you said, Hawkins doesn't get a lot of minutes. Shots weren't falling for Adam Miller against Baylor. All 3 of them, they did not shy away from it. I mean, they were prepared and they felt confident in the spotlight. On the big stage.
These days, those type of players play so much high-level AAU that, most of them are not afraid. I mean, they've been in quote-unquote big moments, maybe not, on TV necessarily, but they've played some high-level teams. So, it's not surprising. No, I think, with Delonte Williams is shooting the ball well, and he plays hard. I can not Sergio, but what's his name?
Georgie.
Georgie. Love me.
I mean, they are kind of similar,
Georgie is playing really well too. I mean, they're going 7, 8 deep, but Georgie really bailed them out. and is playing really well, coming off the bench and bringing them energy and excitement, almost a leadership type of position for what I see.
Yeah, right.
So,
I agree.
They're good. We haven't had an Illini team in a while like that. Obviously, they haven't made the tournament in a while, so hopefully that we can get a tournament. But AU's going to be. I mean, he'd be a top 10 pick, wouldn't you say?
I don't know. See, there's still just like last year. I don't think he's getting a lot of respect for whatever reason.
He's got 6'9" wingspan, plays hard, and can handle it. He's got his shot is better, but he's more of a slasher. He's more of a slasher than a shooter right now, but can still knock down shots. He's just one of those kids. Kids that will only get better. I really think that at first I was like, I don't know, but I think he's going to be pretty special. I really do.
Yeah,
have a nice NBA career.
I hope so.
Hopefully he stays in one more year.
Right.
What else? What else did we didn't chat about? I don't know. Yeah.
Get into it.
All right. So, college basketball is. I haven't watched in the last couple of years, but it's on quite a bit right now, and so I got kind of getting back into the flow, thinking about it. And one thing. Oh, Trent Frazier, if he's knocking down shots, ooh man.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big fan of the pinch to post offense that Underwood runs.
Okay. Right.
Because I think one of the things it does is when you get the ball from the high post, you're going away from the basket. If you take the handoff from him, he's gone away from that, because when you have dynamic guards, you don't really want it in the post player's hand. You want it in your dynamic guards. So really, they're running some dummy action and then running high ball screen and letting the boys play. And and then you got in the corner, you've got shooters in the corner, and when they do drive baseline, their spacing is really good right now. As you drive baseline, they've got the guy on the backside baseline, they got the guy on the opposite wing skipping, they got a guy diving in the rim, and I didn't pay attention, but the next guy should be following the baseline guy. So with that type of spacing, or at the top, depending on what the coach's preference is. Once again, they do a good job of finding people there too. And, all you got to do is alley-oop it. If that guy comes, they just put a lot of pressure defensively, offensively against defense. So I'm excited to see what happens. But Big Ten is good. Iowa's good. Garza has killed the Illini forever, since he's been there 27 years. That's the only team I've seen. But, Wisconsin's good, is good. Michigan State. I mean, it's going to be a tough Big Ten this year, and so you got to bring it. You can't take a night off anytime in the Big Ten, especially this year. I think there are a lot of good teams. Rutgers put a show on. Let Penn State whooped up on Virginia Tech. I think. I
don't know who played who, but the Big Ten would have been 7-0 if Purdue didn't drop the ball. Right? They had this lead and gave it away.
Yeah.
So yeah, Big Ten's tough. Flexing their muscle against ACC.
Rutgers is one of the best players. Ron Harper Jr. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember the name from years past or whatever. I think he hit some big shots last year against the Illini. But yeah, I liked Ron Harper back in the day. I'll root for his kid as long as he's not playing the Illini.
Yeah. So before we get into, I have a one-man trivia. I said, let's get our list of our top 10, or a list of some of our favorite players, non-Illini, from the Big Ten. Now, I only with the ones that I watch. So, like, I didn't have Magic. Magic's like my head coach. So I only went guys that, that I were able to watch play. Is that how you did it?
Yes. Our era. Yeah. Yes. That I watch. I agree.
All right.
I'm pretty sure.
So you said that you kind of took a couple players from each team?
Mostly one, but there were. Here's what I did: is when you gave me this idea, I immediately started thinking in my head of Big Ten schools, and then it was like the first basketball player, that I thought of for that university, is probably my favorite person. I didn't give it a ton of thought. So Yeah, I mean, just when I thought of it, the school, the first name or two that came to my mind, I just thought about it briefly, but that's how I did it.
Okay, so I did put a 1 through 10, and I've got no centers. I've got pretty much all guards and couple small forwards. I'm going small if we were picking 10. But my top 10, I text Ray during the day. I said it was a little harder than I thought it was. I thought I'd be able to find 10 guys, but one I couldn't quite remember, and I went through some of the I put a trivia together for you, so I went through a bunch of names, and I'm like, Iowa, never, and,
Right.
So anyway, my number 10 is, as a local dude, Isaiah Roby. So I hope that he makes it in the big, in the NBA. But number 10 is Roby because he is from Dixon.
Yeah, I agree. There is some local flavor on my list. And then one thing that you mentioned, the Iowa thing, and there were a couple other universities and a couple other individuals that sort of fell into this. I have a lot of hatred towards the University of Iowa because Illinois and the rivalry and whatever. But looking back, I can appreciate some people now.
Looking back on the memories of
like people that I hated back then. Now I can look back and sort of appreciate their game. One example. So, by the way, to answer yours, I didn't go top 10, but my representative of Nebraska is Isaiah Roby for some of the same reasons that you mentioned. He's local. He's athletic. He's all. I mean, when you get on that level, Big Ten, NBA, I don't think he qualifies for freak on that level. But he's tall. He's lanky. I forget. I can see the dude's face, but I forget who coached him at Nebraska. But put him at the point of the 1-3-1. He can do things like that.
Yeah.
For those reasons, I have him. But the point I was trying to make is, I don't know how you felt about Brian Cardinal. You remember Brian Cardinal for Purdue?
Let's get to him later.
Okay.
Do you like him? We'll get there. Was he one that you liked?
Not when I was younger. This is the point I was trying to make.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you remember, he's from Champaign.
I know.
His dad was the athletic trainer for the University of Illinois. And then he goes to Purdue. Now, Illinois might have had something to do with that.
Right. But just to let you know, I got a trip. He's in part of the trivia. So I want to wait to talk to about that dude.
All right. So, but looking back, I can appreciate his game because he was kind of a bruiser. He was like, who did we have back in the day? Brian Johnson or Lucas Johnson, whichever one was kind of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The younger one was like someone that you hated if he was on the other team. But because he's on your team, you kind of like his style, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of Brian Cardinal. For me, is looking back, I can appreciate his style. But when I was in the moment, I disliked him because he should have gone to University of Illinois.
All right. Number 9 for me, Michigan State, Steve Smith.
He's on my list too. For Michigan State, I have Steve Smith and Mateen Cleaves. Again, another one who Mateen kind of drove me nuts because he was so good, back when he was playing for Michigan State. And he just had a style that was kind of his own. He would off the dribble, one-handed pass off the dribble, and it's like people just couldn't figure it out. You know what I mean? Because it kind of messes up the timing that you're used to, right? Normally people pick up the ball and pass it. Just off the dribble, he'd pass it. It just kind of it was one of those things that he did. It seemed like he was the only one. But yeah, Steve Smith, Mateen Cleaves, those are my Michigan State reps.
Mateen did not make one of my categories is players who drove me crazy. All right. Mateen was close to making that category for me.
Okay.
And there's some guys like the legend. Yes, I now appreciate so much more than what I did back then because I was a Lakers fan, but not the people you're talking about so far. Number 8, sweet shooting lefty, played for the Bucks, Michael Redd.
That's a good pick. Not on my list.
Yeah. So from the Buckeyes.
Yep. From the Ohio State University, I have Jimmy Jackson and Lawrence Funderburk. I don't know, for whatever reason, I like Lawrence Funderburk. But Jimmy Jackson, I think what I liked maybe more than his game he was like the figurehead of Ohio State bringing back the gray uniforms, and I really like that look with the gray uniforms.
Yeah. All right, number 7, another OSU, Chris Gent, another lefty too, Chris Gent. You know, talking about a rugged guy, you know, that did, you know, played hard and was tough nosed, could shoot the ball a little bit. So yes, he is number 7 on my list.
Okay.
All right. Then since you already went to the Buckeyes, number 6.
He's a basketball coach now. I don't know. Did you know that?
Yeah. He's at Ohio State now, isn't he? Because or did he move on?
Currently an assistant coach with the Hawks.
Oh, that's right. I did see that. Yeah. Number 6, an older one older point guard from Michigan. I don't like too many guys from Michigan, but OGG, I did like little Gary Grant action. So Gary Grant is number 6 on my list.
Yeah, I didn't mind him. Didn't make my list. My representative for Michigan, a member of the Fab Five, but not one of the more well-known ones, Ray Jackson, probably for obvious reasons. You know, you know, the name Ray, you know, Fab Five, they were a likable group, right? Kind of.
Yeah, they were kind of fun. Yeah, I didn't mind them. You know, I kind of like the flair a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, number 5. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, not so much Juwan Howard. He would be like the last of the 5 because, again, Chicago kid, and that was still during the time when Illinois got all the good Chicago kids they wanted, right?
Yeah.
But then
Yeah. Potentially another trivia.
All right.
All right, number 5. Another, once again, lanky wing that played for years in the NBA. From the University of Minnesota, Vashawn Leonard.
He's on my list too. He's the first dude I thought of when I was thinking, you know, so like I said, I was thinking of other Big Ten individuals and other universities, and he was the first name that popped in my head. But I also like Bobby Jackson from Minnesota.
Yeah, Bobby was right up there. He almost got it. If I didn't put Roby, you know, Bobby might have snuck in the top to that 10th pick or 10th one.
All right.
Number 4. Lefty. Man, a lot of lefties here. Lefty from Indiana. I used to love him, even though he's, you know, Indiana. Calbert Cheaney.
Okay. Calbert Cheaney, not so bad. I struggled to find people from Indiana that I liked. Indiana and Iowa were the hardest. It makes sense, right?
Right.
But I dug deep. I think this dude's a lefty, and he had a nice stroke. Matt Roth.
He was right. No, I actually don't know. I was thinking of was he lefty?
I don't know for sure, but it's such a smooth shot. He had to be lefty, right?
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna look it up, see if I can find it.
Number 3. Once again, lanky shooter, Glenn Rice. Love me some Glenn Rice.
Nice pick. Yeah.
Number 2. Had his jersey. Replica, of course. From Wisconsin, from Illinois, Proviso East, I do believe, Michael Finley.
Michael Finley, yep. He's on my list, Wisconsin, Michael Finley, and Ethan Happ. Again, local flav. Don't tell me. Rock Ridge, they were in the same athletic conference as Fulton, so Fulton played against him a few times. Yeah. A lot of local flav.
And my favorite player, you know, from the Big Ten, you've already talked about him, Jimmy Jackson. Love me some Jimmy Jackson back in the day.
Favorite player from the Big Ten.
Yep, that's non-Illini and during our time. Yes, love me some Jimmy Jack.
For as much of a shooter as Matt Roth was, there are not a lot of pictures of him in the act of shooting. Dang it. I think he is right-handed. I mean, there's one here where he's following through. It looks like probably a right-handed shot. Whatever. I'll find out for sure and get back. He's right-handed. Shooting a free throw right-handed. Dang it.
Yeah.
So the rest of my list, let's see. Who did we not hit?
Maryland or Northwestern.
Timmy Doyle. How about Timmy Doyle?
Hated him.
Seriously? What about as like a Big Ten analyst announcer guy?
Good.
Like on the I think that's probably that's probably why I liked him more than anything. Yeah. He got in some fisticuffs with Kendall Gill too. I don't know. Maybe that's a reason not to like him, but whatever.
That's true. Oh yeah.
Purdue, big dog Glenn Robinson.
Yeah, he was good. He'd probably be top 15-ish, but no, he didn't make my top 10.
Maryland, pre-Big Ten, Steve Blake. They made a run in the tournament. They may have even won it.
Yeah.
He was the point guard. Whatever. How do we not have Penn State? Anybody from Penn State yet? How about a Joe Crispin, Taylor Battle?
Yeah. Okay.
Nope. Rutgers, local flavor again. Maybe you remember this name. He might have played with your buddy Tom. Is it Goose? How do you say his last name?
Yeah.
Eric Clark from Rockford Lutheran goes to Rutgers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Come on, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Not really.
And then the Hawkeyes. This was a struggle. I don't think I liked BJ when he was on the Hawkeyes. I think he annoyed me, kind of like an Isaiah Thomas type. But with the Bulls, obviously, for that reason, he made my list, I guess. But Chris Kingsbury probably, because he was, all 3-point shooter, whatever, and that's the sort of guy that I like to watch. He's like a Andy Kaufman type. So I think he might be the one that I go with for the Hawkeyes. But I think the sentimental pick for the Hawkeyes, maybe Chris Street. I think I would have to maybe go for Chris Street.
We have a lot of likes and same interests, but apparently Big Ten basketball players were a little off. Kingsbury,
not at all. Hated him.
Pretty much any Iowa point guard.
You should like him. He steps into the gym and he's in his range, right? It's kind of like true. You, right?
Yeah, I mean Kingsbury. And once again, I don't want to ruin my, but
I hate it. Yeah.
Skinner. I mean, pretty much, like I said, any other point guards are just disliked.